Welcome to the Nick and Rob Homer Hour, and week one is in the books, Rob.
It is, and we had one game that looked like it could have been a really good professional football game with a star quarterback. And we had a bunch of other games where it looked like the teams were getting their legs under them and setting the stage for a good season.
Gotcha. Hey, by the way, I noticed you were breaking up over there. Am I breaking up on my end?
It's a little scratchy.
A little scratchy? Okay, I just wanted to make sure everything is good. You're coming in somewhat strange. I was just making sure that we're good, but you can hear me, right?
Oh yeah, I can hear you. That's fine.
Okay. All right. Well, then as long as that happens, that'll be good. Yeah. There was it was a little sketchy. Like overall, real quick before we get into anything specific, do you feel like it was a success when it comes to Repoli and what he was trying to do for the UFL?
I think it was a good first step. It was, and it looks early on like Dallas hit it out of the park with a home run hire, who
Mm-hmm.
made the right call and didn't do what the old UFL would have done and keep Spring King in. They put the young stud quarterback in who showed he could operate an offense. And Rick Neuheisel operated a professional offense. And that was really great to see. The other games, it felt like I was watching week 2, week 3 last year.
Okay, that's actually good, right? Because week one was awful last year, so you feel like it's
Yeah,
already in motion.
I was underwhelmed by Birmingham. Really underwhelmed me. They really did.
Mm.
They've taken a lot of steps back, and I think a good portion of that is that they have a very inexperienced coach, and that's going to be a tough sell in that market unless things turn around quick.
Yeah, that's going to be a theme of the league right now. We're going to definitely talk about some of the inexperienced head coaches. Some of them didn't look too bad out there, but it's going to be an issue. So we'll get into all the games, do a brief run by of all of the games and the Homer headlines. Obviously, we're gonna try to make some picks. Rob, I'm up a game on you. Don't be too nervous, okay? I know we got
I'm
36 to go, but no, you okay? You're gonna trust
I'm
me.
good. I'm not too stressed.
And then, of course, we got the Renegade rundown. That's where we'll start it off with. And after that, we got other sports, and there's a lot to talk about. Baseball season starting, hockey. I would love to hear what's going on with the Bruins. Mark Cuban's making the news, so plenty to talk about with our Dallas and Boston sports all around.
Yes, indeed. It's getting to be crunch time in the NBA and the NHL. Underwhelming starts for our baseball teams, but that's okay.
Yeah. But we'll see how it pulls off. Let's kick it off though with the Renegade rundown, and we're going to start off with the great win against the Houston Gamblers. Rob, I know we didn't really do a pre-show on this, but I did want you to get into the Austin Reed Luis Perez news. I know you have a lot of hot takes on that, and you seemed really excited that Neuheisel decided to go with Austin Reed before the game.
Yeah, I did. I hinted, we brought this up a few weeks ago on the pod when I said, Neuheisel's hinted that he likes Luis Perez, but he really wants to. He said in a preseason interview that he really wanted to involve his other quarterbacks. He said that they were going to have a future there. I think that was him just kind of laying the groundwork. We saw a lot of the Renegade and UFL faithful go nuts. How dare you think about benching the Spring King? He did it. We had a lot of armchair head coaches say that's not how you win games in this league by benching Luis Perez. If we were to look up his Luis Perez's all-time record. It's might be 500, maybe a little bit above.
It's a
So,
little bit, yeah, a little bit above.
but not much. Not Yes, he got a title. He had a hot start. He got a title. It led him to a cup of coffee in the NFL for a little bit. He's got a great story. But if you're still hanging, even Repoli said it at one point in the preseason, if you're still in this league 4 and 5 years later, maybe it's time to wrap up soon. And then Austin Reed came out under this new look Rick Neuheisel offense, which you're going to break down a couple things on, and promptly threw a UFL record for passing yards. And here's the thing, because we're trying to bring in the casual fan into UFL football. We're trying to say this is a good product. You should watch it. There's only one game from this week that I would show and say this is to hook them, and that's the Dallas game. That way they can go ahead and watch Austin Reed and go, okay, I know what that looks like. That looks like football to me. So 336 yards, I believe. I can
76.
376 yards. Like that's just awesome. UFL record. He looked like a quarterback out there. And compared to the quarterbacks on the other sideline, he looked like a Hall of Fame quarterback. Nolan Henderson was a mess. So someone tried to bring Deckers in. That was messy. So Henderson came. It was, oh goodness, that was just awful. But Austin Reed, 26 of 40, 376, 3 touchdowns, a 120 rating. That's something fans can get behind. That's something players can get behind. And I didn't really see too much on X of those people losing their minds saying that's what you get for not starting. I think they've already forgotten about Luis Perez.
I have not. Hey, look, you can love Luis Perez and Austin Reed at the same time. And for anyone that, really, really besmirches like Luis Perez, because I did, not you, Rob, but I'm talking about other fans out there that were saying he's not good and whatever. Look, Luis Perez is a really good football player, good quarterback. If you don't believe me, just take a look at his numbers. The man is finished 2024 and 25 with the most passing yards. He is finished second in passing TDs in both years, and he finishes top 3 in completion percentage. When it comes to the art of the position, he's really good at it. Now, what Austin Reed has that Luis Perez does not is a strong arm. And Luis Perez also likes to command an offense. Think of him like a Peyton Manning type. He just wants to direct it any way he goes. And I think Neuheisel looked at the situation and said, I've got a scheme, and I just want someone to follow that scheme. And he figured Reed is the better option to do that with the stronger arm. It's going to work out. So I love what Neuheisel did, because that took guts. Taking a guy like the Spring King, obviously a fan favorite, and he went ahead and pulled the trigger.
It did not take guts. Luis Perez was not his guy. He's the coach coming in here. He needs to win. He went with the best quarterback.
But I feel like
if it was Bob Stoops, I would have said that took guts to go away from the one that brung him. But
I'm just saying it's like high risk, because let's say Reed just threw a stinker of a game. Neuheisel is going to hear about it too. So there was a lot of risk in that. But like you said, he just went with the best winning option. And I got to give a lot of credit to Neuheisel over there. He did a phenomenal job. I think Neuheisel was a big reason why this offense looks so fresh. I love the excitement of this offense. I see more play action. I see more motion. And I see just great scheming out there. And Rob, if you don't mind, I want to go ahead and pull up a...
Let's do it.
What exactly did he do against the Houston Roughnecks? And by the way, a lot of this has to do with the Houston Roughnecks just not being smart defensively either. But I went ahead and pulled up a play that happened over here. This is the Tyler Vaughn touchdown play where he ended up scoring. What are we looking at? This is sometime in the second quarter. And this is just a good scheme of like how Neuheisel knew how to attack this Houston. Did I say Roughnecks? Gamblers. I meant Gamblers, the Houston Gamblers. So what the Houston Gamblers were doing all game long is they were playing man-to-man, and he took that approach and attacked it really well. This particular play right here, it's called a mesh formation, and you're going to see that Tyler Vaughn on this side and that's Emmanuel Butler on this side are both going to mesh on this side of the field, okay? Big part of mesh is you need to get as many bodies outside that middle of the field to help out your offense. And you got Moody here, he's the defensive back, the linebacker, guarding, I believe that's Merriweather. I can't tell. I've watched this tape so many times and I could not see a number, so I just don't have an idea. But anyway, the first move that he does, the running back. And first part of this that I love is the fact that Merriweather ends up running onto the outside and Moody has to follow him because, again, remember, it's man-to-man. Okay? Next part of the play is you got Vincent against Tyler Vaughn. And this is the part that I love the most because this is all Tyler Vaughn here. Look at this beat. It wasn't even close. He was so far behind on that play that you could already tell that this...
He got the jump.
He got the jump, did exactly what he needed to do, and that's the way the play ended up working because now Tyler Vaughn's going to be your guy. Play continues, and you even see Vincent notices, I lost him, I'm pointing at him, and he's trying to get Hines, the linebacker, to jump in. The brilliance of this is Hines is actually in a really good position here because you'll see him step up right at the right spot. The key to this play is the fact that Reed had a heck of a pocket and he could be much, much more patient to wait for the mesh to actually form. And then Emmanuel Butler jumps in, clean, doesn't touch him, ends up stopping Hines from being involved in the play and causing the other cornerback to run the opposite direction, leaving open a Tyler Vaughn for a clean touchdown. Now,
wide open.
It was a brilliant play call, and just to give you guys the fun of the full play, here it is. Bam, done. Tyler Vaughn scores. What I love about this is he discovered that they were doing man-to-man way, way early in this game, and he attacked it perfectly. I don't understand why the Gamblers decided not to change it up at all, play little zone. That's what they used to do last year, but the defensive coordinator decided not to change it, and boy, did he pick them apart. I mean, like you said earlier, Reed ended up with 376 passing yards. Tyler Vaughn ended up just dishing it out, getting number one in receiving. He got 7 for 144 yards and 1 touchdown. And another big play by Greg Ward ended up scoring a big touchdown, and he got 3 receptions, 93 yards, and 1 touchdown. Reed was able to do whatever the heck he wanted out there and capitalized on that Houston Gamblers team. The only good thing from the Houston Gamblers the entire game, and I mean the entire game, is the fact that they did a pretty good job at stopping the run, which is a big concern for the Renegades because they have not been able to run the ball. Total amount of yards that they ended up getting, 72 yards and only averaging 2.77 yards a carry. Another bad run night. If there's anything the Houston Gamblers can hang their hat on, was the fact that at least they stopped the run, but that's about it. That's about it. It was a bad game all around for the Gamblers.
Yeah, it was. And, I mean, if you look at the rosters, you know, Kevin Sumlin doesn't have as much to work with at the moment as Rick Neuheisel does. That being said, they're 2 of the top 4 coaches in the UFL right now. That's like automatic, guaranteed. I would expect the Gamblers are going to look much better in the weeks to come, as long as they listen to their coach. But you're saying the defensive coordinator didn't adjust. You know, I've got word. My sources say he was trying. He just couldn't find his walkie-talkie.
They brought it back too, Rob. They brought it back. We thought they were clean in the first game. No walkie-talkie. You saw them radio it in through the headset, and then they brought it back. What are we doing? What are we doing with the walkie-talkies?
Yeah, for those of you that are like, what are you guys talking about? For some reason, the UFL can't apparently get multiple channels on their headsets. So they use the headsets for the coaches to talk. And when they need to call in a play to the quarterback or the defensive play caller, there's a walkie-talkie that they use. So they've got a headset on, but a walkie-talkie in hand. And it's embarrassing. Reply,
It
fix
does.
that, please.
Yeah, Reply, please spend another million and just get them normal headsets. It's just really annoying. I don't know what they're doing. On, on the other end of it, though, real quick, I just wanted to shout out for the Renegade defense because there was a lot of key players. Trey Folan got 1 sack. Kevin Strong also got a sack. Stephen Jones, 1 pick 6, a hell of a pick 6. They also interviewed him on the field, Rob, and he's fun. He's a hoot and a holler. I don't mind that. Interviewing players, fine. Let's not interview the coaches, and we're going to get a little into that because
Well, the coaches are always just going to do coach speak.
it was worse than that, Rob. I don't know if you saw it yet, but I'll show you a clip when we get to the game. But you have to see it. It was pretty embarrassing. And you're right. It's coach speak. We don't know what's going on. And Bobby Price, who's a cornerback, ended up leading the team with 5 tackles, which is rare. Usually your linebackers are going to lead the team in tackles, and even got a sack. The defense front looks really good. They're good at stopping the run. The secondary looks sick. I mean, straight up sick. And I know everyone's ranting and raving about our offense out there, but keep an eye on that Renegade defense. I think this one might be a juggernaut. It's a serious defense. Now, granted, it's against Henderson and Decker, so maybe we don't really have a good litmus test on it, but from what I saw out there, it just looked pretty bad. Pretty good defense. Really good defense.
Yeah. Well, all right. So anything else you want to cover in our Renegade rundown? Or do we want to jump into the headlines? And do you want to talk about the Renegade game there?
Oh, no. I think we got the Renegade. We talked about Houston problems, so we can skip that one. I don't think that'll be an issue. One last thing, though, before we move on. Take that, Houston. Enjoy that. I hope you had fun with that game because I did. All right.
Question for you. Is the other boot, is that involved here? Because I know they can only afford 1 boot for MLB. So
I'll take a boot. Yeah, he's referring to the silver boot in the Rangers Astros, and we like to tease Rob that that's all Astro fans and Texas fans focus on. And Rob, being a Red Sox Yankee or hating the Yankees, he's like, your rivalry's dumb, and you can't blame it.
Who needs a trophy? You don't need a trophy in a blood feud.
It's a Texas thing, Rob. It's a Texas thing. I don't know. We need trophies. We need trophies and hand signals. That's another thing for the colleges. You got to have hand signals. Got to have them.
It's
but I'm ready.
It seems unique to Texas. The hand signal.
It's very unique. You ready to dive into Hober headlines?
Let's do it.
All right.
All right, it's time for some Homer headlines. We're going to dive into the other 3 games that we saw throughout the weekend. Start off, of course, with the first one that everyone saw, which I believe that was the Friday night game, right? Birmingham going in Louisville.
Yeah, and I bet you it was their best rated game, too. I have a feeling because I made sure to tune in and watch. You watched it. It was, I think it did well.
Well, I got there. I had to watch St. John's screw up first, but that's okay. The fact that Patino is still doing what he's doing at his age is impressive. But yeah, so here we go. We got. It was a close one. The end of the game was entertaining, and honestly, this might sound wild, but maybe we didn't officially talk about a power rankings.
I got it.
The Louisville Kings, I know they lost. I might slide them into my second spot because their defense is legit. Most of the other games that we saw, it was like, all right, it was sloppy football. They're getting their game reps. They're trying to figure it all out. The Kings had a very legitimate defense that was really stymieing the Stallions. If they can even find a average offense, which in the UFL is 17 points a game, is slightly above average. If they can find their way to 16 to 18 points a game, they're going to win a lot more than they're going to lose if that defense keeps up what they're doing. I was impressed by the Kings' defense. I was impressed by the crowd at the Kings. They seem excited. But the biggest thing going forward is only 2 teams in this whole league scored above 20 points in week 1. If the ratings are going to go up, that's got to change. And I'm not saying change the rules, soften the defenses, but play better. Do something. The Kings defense did great. Ultimately, the Birmingham Stallions showed that their head coach is not at the bottom of the decisional end of game rankings when it comes to things. The Kings coach has got to figure that out a little bit. Same with the Kings players. The Stallions tried to give it away at the end with one of the dumbest penalties I have ever seen, celebrating before the game was over. But then the Kings tried to run a hook and ladder to finish it up, and apparently only 2 players on the whole Kings offense knew that they were running the hook and ladder. And so that was real fast.
Yeah, and they weren't wide receiver, which is really important. You need at least a third guy in there to execute such a plan.
So yeah, I think the Kings have the best defense in the league. They need to figure things out on offense. And the Stallions, if they win more than 3 games, I'm going to be shocked.
Whoa, okay. All right, Rob. Hating on the Stallions. Starting early this year, aren't you?
Yeah.
What'd you think of Jason Bean? I was really entertained by him. He seemed really good. I've got my problems with him, but
he needs to figure out some patience. That's what did them in. He was just flinging the ball, and he was just like, strong arm, throw far, go. And it's like that last pick that sealed the game, there was no reason for it. He could have just taken the sack or throw the ball away. He forced it into triple coverage, and shocker, it didn't work. If one thing y'all are going to learn in the next couple weeks, the receivers in this league, they take time to catch up to what should actually be happening. And you saw it a lot in this game and in other games. There's a lot of drops. In the beginning. A lot of drops, a lot of confusion about the routes. I don't think they get nearly as much practice time as they should to figure this stuff out. And so you see them figuring out on the fly, which makes for a tougher product to watch. That being said, there's a chance if they can take the leap in week 2 that things will change up.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, yeah, that should improve later on in the year. I hope it does. Last year, though, you nailed it. It was terrible. There was a lot of drops, and hopefully that gets better. But especially this Louisville Kings team, they did not do Bean any favors. Right there with you, too, on the deep ball. That was all he did. He just threw it on the sidelines on the right or the left. Outside of that, he didn't actually have any involvement or evolution to his game. Never threw it in the middle of the field, never did anything too spectacular, just a couple short dink and dunk passes outside of that. And if Bean wants to improve, he's got to start learning how to use that 15 to 25 yards because that's what makes NFL quarterbacks is being able to execute those. A lot of ex-quarterbacks can hit the deep ball. Now it's the next part. But the running, It's fun, man. He's exciting to watch.
Yeah, no, he is. I think he'll get better. I think this Kings team, I think they're going to be one to watch for. I think I know the scoreboard didn't show it, but I think these are teams that are going in opposite directions in the Stallions and the Kings, and I think the Kings are on their way up.
They are. Yeah, I think so too. And I'm right there with you on the Stallions as well, by the way. I'm not impressed. And AJ McCarron, good quarterback. I don't know about these head coaches that are so new. I got to have some experience, but credit to Chris Redmond. He won his. Last thing on the game that we saw, you were talking.
He didn't win his.
Oh, McCarron, he didn't actually.
He should have. And I think he's going to win a bunch. I think he's got a playoff team if he doesn't screw it up.
Right. Yeah, he lost. He lost, and he should have won. Yeah, I don't know. They just look like the better team, I guess. So I forgot who actually won and lost the game because of it. You mentioned the Louisville crowd, and this is an incident that happened on the way to the halftime where the Stallions started going in. And the Louisville crowd, man, I'll tell you what, welcome to the UFL. They jumped in, they got excited, and they already started acting. And this is the incident.
Again, that goes to show you coaching. Like AJ McCarron just doesn't have it. Yeah, his team won. But then you saw that stupid penalty in the game, and then he brought this team around. Was like, hey, he was mic'd up, guys. Like we can't have that. It's like he doesn't seem to have control of his team. I'm not an AJ
No.
McCarron as a coach fan. I'm just not. He can prove me wrong. Please do. But
I'm not high on him either. And that's a weird situation because they threw the beer first. So at that point, I say fair game. If a fan wants to throw a beer back at you,
no, you're a professional.
Do it.
Walking. Professional athlete.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're supposed to be the better man and not be as low as the fans are. And the fans didn't do anything. All they did was boo you. That's normal. That's what fans do.
The beer was in reaction to 13 trying to like bow up. So no,
to a fan.
13 can go. Yeah. He can go find a job elsewhere. If I was a coach, he'd be off my team.
Yeah, send a message to the rest.
Yeah.
So we got the Renegades. Let's see, what do we got now? The Columbus Aviators. Oh no, I missed one.
No, that's our cap. No, we got the rivalry game.
Yes, the DC Defenders against the St. Louis Battlehawks. I got it right.
30,000 plus. The one place that can draw St. Louis, 30,000 plus.
And they did it. They did it.
Don't worry, y'all. Jordan Tiamo, he had a slow start last year. Don't jump off the train. If you listened to me last week and you bought some shares of Tiamo as MVP, don't worry about it yet. Buy some more right now. While it's a little lower, Tiamo will be fine.
Yeah, he had a pretty bad game, 123 yards, 2 interceptions. Definitely not the Tiamo that ended up with a championship out there. Me and you both were thinking going into this game, they ended up losing 10-16. The most exciting thing that the DC Defenders had going for them is they were the first to execute the 4-point play, the one thing we've been waiting for. They were able to do it. Didn't do them much, but they got it.
No, I mean, they got no touchdowns. I expect that to change drastically. I really do. Battlehawks look like they haven't lost too much of a step. You're like, but they only scored 16 points. Well, that's the third most in the league this week. It is what it is. Their quarterback looked functional. Silvers will get better as he goes with more reps. So yeah, it was fun. It was a bit more now this is what we're going to expect, except for the outlier that was the Renegades.
Yeah,
that does leave us with that. Okay, do anything else you want to add on the Battlehawks and Defenders?
Not much. It was a rivalry game, and like you said, I wish it was later on down the road. They could have been more fine-tuned because it just wasn't that exciting of a football game to watch, except for the 4-point play. That was the only thing they had going for them. So congratulations to the Battlehawks. That was a big win. That is the defending champs. So to go after them like they did was pretty impressive, but we'll see how they do in the future.
Yes, we will. And that took us to our week, because we already talked about Renegades. So we talked about that. Good job. Renegades look great. Orlando Storm with a great debut over the Columbus Aviators. And the Storm found a way above 21 points.
One of the few that could pull it off, Rob. Yeah, one of the few, and it was late too. If you looked at the box score, by the time they ended up actually getting touchdowns, it was by the end of the third quarter. Third.
Yeah.
And it took a little while for it to get going. The Aviators almost came back, but they could not pull it off in the end because, I mean, they even had a ball back with a minute to go. And that's the one thing about UFL football. No lead is really safe because of the 4th and, I believe, 12. You can get the ball back. The 4-point play now. There's a lot of capabilities for these offenses to get back in the game because I've fallen victim as a Renegades fan to the 2-touchdown advantage and ended up losing so in the fourth quarter. So it looked like it was going to be one of those games, but it didn't end up happening. The Storm held them off. Anthony Beck did a really good job.
Yeah, and you could argue Jack Plummer actually had the best quarterback performance in the league this week. I was surprised that Julian Thompson-Robinson didn't get the start in Orlando. They went with Jack Plummer. Well, he showed why. 17 of 22, 77.3 completion percentage, which is probably one of the 5 based on last year, and then what I've seen through week 1, one of the 5 like best completion percentages in the UFL in the last few years. So it looks like they got themselves a quarterback. His leash just got a lot longer. We got some good teams towards the top and some not so good teams towards the bottom in this league.
Yeah, and the key to this, I think, is they made a very, very quarterback-friendly offense because it's Anthony Beck. This is what he does. He knows how to build an offense that's really nice to his quarterback, and Jake Plummer does have a lot of talent. So, he took it.
Jake's the talent too, but Jack Plummer we're talking about.
Not Jake the Snake. He doesn't have a nickname, I guess, Jack yet. So Jack Plummer, who did end up throwing 240 yards, 1 touchdown, pretty good game overall. Rushing-wise, it's an Anthony Beck team, so it was actually a little disappointing. They had one guy, Corbin, who's really good, end up with 15 attempts, 66 yards, 2 touchdowns. One thing that happened in this game and started to become a controversy is that they actually interviewed the defensive coordinator in the middle of the drive that they were defending the Orlando Storm. Rob, you have to check this out.
We don't need this stuff. But yeah, let's see it.
Yeah.
As he goes, what's the call?
Bat nine. We're coming from the bridge on a blinding blitz. You can't overrun it.
Touchdown, Jay-Sean Corbin, as you heard Pat Mutterland, the defensive coordinator, say.
It does seem like he called the right play and his players screwed it up.
But what are you doing? You're interviewing him now? They were in the red zone. What are they doing? I couldn't believe ESPN did that to the poor man. And
just have them. I like the idea of having them mic'd up, and they did this a little bit last year. You can hear the play calls. That's cool, but this extra thing wasn't needed. Granted, his players didn't execute. So,
and what kind of question is that? That was, by the way, Camacho, or what's his name? I'm sorry, Acho, who ended up doing the interview, and that was Captain Munnerlin, the defensive coordinator for the Aviators. Dude, what did we get out of that? He just told us blinded spot or something. What does that mean to us? We don't know their lingo. We don't know that. So what kind of question is that?
I get it because also like Acho is a former defensive player, so I get that. But I think they're trying to appeal to too many people in one spot there. They want to bring the casual fan behind the curtain, but they also want to use the lingo for the more advanced fan to be like, okay, yeah, I see that. And they're doing too much. Just let us hear the mic. Just let us hear the mic. Let us hear the play calls. That's all we need.
Munnerlin 100% blamed he's going to end up just getting mad. I mean, you saw his frustration after the touchdown.
Well, his players ran it. Like he said it as it was happening. He missed his assignment.
and the interview was done too.
That was good TV. That part was good TV. Like,
I will give you that. Yeah. I mean, it was entertaining. It was so much that I had to put it up there. But I'm right there with you. Let's just tap into the mics. We'll hear what they say. For you super football savants, that should be enough for you. Let's not interview the coaches in the red zone. Rob, what are they doing? Come on. He's got a job to do. Let him do his job.
Just mic it up. Just mic him up. I like mic him up, but maybe not the quiz.
Maybe not. Columbia's Aviators, by the way. Who do you think's the worst team? Do you think the Aviators are, or do you think it's going towards Houston? I don't know. I think it's a flip of a coin.
Well, I'm going to give the benefit to Houston because they have the better coach. Technically.
Good. Technically. Should be. But we'll see. But also, that's the thing. Is Kevin Sumlin, is he here to prove something, or is it kind of more Bob Stoops like, where he gets to coach and he's getting a bonus paycheck? Because Sumlin doesn't really need the money. He's got some nice buyouts from A&M and from Arizona. I want to say Arizona. Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah. So he doesn't need the money, but he also, like Stoops, he doesn't necessarily need to work hard on it. I heard a nice interview. I would have told you about it, but I was driving at the time. Rick Neuheisel, the night before the game, was on. One of the ESPN shows had on the radio, had him on, and he was talking about it. And Neuheisel's he's excited to be back coaching. He's like, he was getting bored golfing. He was excited to be back coaching. Is Kevin Sumlin excited to be back coaching? Whereas Ted Ginn Jr., he's got to prove himself, and he wants to prove himself. So we'll see.
Yeah, and I got to give it to, he didn't have a great game. Jalen McClendon, who used to be with Houston, and I thought he was fantastic with Houston. I don't know why he didn't end up back over there. I like McClendon a lot, so maybe McClendon could figure it out. I know that was a bad game, so it's not the best time to say I'm a big fan of him, but I am. He's very entertaining to watch. He runs the ball well, and he's got a heck of an arm. And if he did anything that he did last year, this should be good. That's why I'm going to give the edge to the Aviators. I think the Aviators, I don't know, man. I didn't see much out of Houston except stopping the run. So we'll see how the league goes. It's weird. These bad teams, though, later on in the year, they start getting better, and they're going to sneak up and get a weird win or two. So as long as they're coaching them right, they should be able to get a couple. It's still professional football.
It's still professional football. One thing, since we're in Homer headlines, I know we're about to switch to the picks. Real quick, article right on and I'll drop this in the chat, on the UFL website is talking about the in-game communication. It's the main thing that they're talking about. And it's actually, they're talking about how they're changing the game with their player-to-coach communication. And this actually might make a bit more sense why some of them still have the walkies. Is up to 16 players on each team can have direct communication with the coaches. So
okay, all right.
Much different than the NFL and college football, where there's one play caller on each one. All right, so
okay, all right, and then instead of switching the channels on which I'd imagine would be irritating to keep going back and forth.
So that maybe that's why they have maybe, or because they say it's direct, so it doesn't sound like it's just one channel talking to everybody. Which would make sense because you got I'd put eight of my offensive players, 8 of my defensive players with that communication, or maybe, the article didn't say anything about limits. Give it to all my offensive players or all my defensive players. That gives you a really good edge. Yeah.
Just make sure that everyone's on the same page over there. I guess Louisville, then, he was the offensive play caller, the OC for Louisville. He just decided not to use it. I guess he's fine with whatever they got.
Maybe they have a better system or something. I don't know. But that's interesting to see will that lead to better playing quicker because they're being coached in real time? As if, you know, he got the controller for Madden and he's hitting the buttons and telling them what to do. Exactly. So, interesting.
Yeah. That is really interesting and probably really good for the league, right? If that's the case, because I think that's a big
Innovation
win.
to get people talking about the league, both good and bad.
Yeah. Yeah. So, Rob, that's week 1. We're ready to do some picks. Are you going to try to come back from this lead?
Oh, of course I am. I'm going perfect.
Making picks with Nick and Rob. Making picks with Nick and Rob. Nick and Rob. Their picks might be a hatchet job. Less reliable than a corn on the cob, but I love hearing picks from Nick and Rob. Na, 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 na.
All right. We got an elongated week. It's going to stretch out, but we still got 4 games.
Yeah. This is what the week 1 results were total. Me and Rob, what do we got? We both lost on the DC Defenders, and you had the audacity to pick against the Renegades. You, Rob, but
I was happily proven wrong.
you did say that too when you made the pick. Which leads us, not too exciting, but our standings where I'm up 1 game, and I'm going to try to enjoy that lead as much as possible. So yeah, let's dive into it. I forgot to actually add the spreads here, Rob. So
Wow.
do you have the first game by chance?
I have it up. I don't have the spreads.
Okay, I got you there.
All right, yeah. The first is DC Defenders going to Columbus to play the Aviators. Well, then again, the Columbus Aviators are going to Columbus too because they all stay in a hub and they fly together. But yeah, so that one's pretty simple for me. I gotta think the Defenders are gonna right the ship, and if they don't, uh-oh. But yeah, I'm gonna go DC Defenders there.
DC Defenders over the Aviators, which, by the way, little shocker, they've got them at a -1.5 only for the DC Defenders. I guess they are playing away.
They're playing away. The offense looked terrible. I mean, as it was, the over-under for the Battlehawks Defenders game was 44, and they didn't even come within 2 touchdowns of that over-under. So, so yeah.
Crazy. Yeah, I think they do too, but I don't know. We picked them last time. I just don't believe in the Aviators, though. I just don't. So, unfortunately, Rob, I'm right there with you. I'm going to go with the DC Defenders. I'm trying to make it exciting, but just couldn't do it. This one, though, should be really good. You got the Louisville Kings at the Orlando Storm. The Orlando Storm are -3 favorites.
Yep, and I think they should be. If Jason Bean can somehow figure out how to not just throw it to his streaking receiver only on one side or the other, they could certainly make it a game. But this is Orlando's chance to me to really stake their claim as a top 2 team in the league. A win here, a convincing win here will do it because this defense is good with Louisville. So the Louisville defense is going to keep them in the game. But I know I was high on Louisville earlier. They need a little time to ramp up. They're going to go 0-2. Orlando's got it.
Yeah, and I think we nailed it on the other show. I'm trying to make it exciting, Rob, but we nailed it on earlier in the show when we were talking about who are the best teams. And right now, it's looking like the Orlando Storm and the Dallas Renegades as of right now. So I can't go against one of the better teams.
Because of how good that defense looked, Louisville, like I said, they have a chance to be right there. They've got the best defense in the league. They're just offense. They need to figure out how to call some middle plays, how to get some cohesion on offense. If they can figure that out, they're
bare minimum
team.
Yeah, and bare minimum, maybe do a run and shoot where you have the running game on your side and you can still keep going deep. I mean, that's, if you're not going to get beaten to do it. That's the best way to do it. They're much closer. They're close. They're close. They're just not quite there yet.
Yeah. Yeah. They honestly, I would, if they Louisville could lose this game, but if they stay within a touchdown, I'd probably still say that they're a top 4 team in the league. I'd still put them in the top.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, I forgot to put this up there. This is the actual UFL power rankings. Got the Renegade, St. Louis Battlehawks, Birmingham Stallions number 3, Orlando Storm, Louisville Kings, the best of the 0-1, like you said earlier, Rob, and over the DC Defenders, too. And then the Columbus Aviators and Houston Gamblers.
Yeah, I would I underrated the Storm. I would move the Storm up to 3. I would still have I would put the Kings over the Stallions. I would have the Kings at 4 right now.
Over the Stallions?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Even with the loss, you just go with the better
even though
team.
they lost head-to-head. I would still say they play 5 times. Louisville wins 3.
Yeah, Orlando should have jumped the Stallions. I agree with that.
That's the UFL media trying to keep the blue blood towards the top.
Well, I'm just shocked that they decided to put the Dallas Renegades at number 1. Finally, we got it.
No, they deserved it. Oh my goodness, they deserved it.
And
they deserved it.
The weird thing is the Renegades ended up beating the worst team according to them in the UFL, but we're ranked number 1. That's kind of weird, But I guess we did it so well.
Honestly, I'd have the Defenders down at the bottom right now. I know that was just bad. It's only
defending champ.
You don't really need a ranking until 3 or 4 weeks in, but
yeah, it's just always fun. So the next one, though, Rob, this one, okay, so you're not high on the Birmingham Stallions, and you think they're going to get only 3 wins, okay? You're running out of time. They've got 2 more to go. Birmingham Stallions are going against the Houston Gamblers, and they're favored by 7 points.
In Houston?
In Houston.
Oh, I'm going to go Gamblers here.
Man. Okay. That's hate. I think that's hate.
The Stallions got bailed out by going up against another pretty green coaching staff that didn't know what it was doing on offense. Someone should have better things going.
Make adjustments.
Yeah, I think the way Neuheisel came out with Dallas would have been a buzzsaw against any of the other 7 teams. None of them are used to seeing that in the UFL.
I don't think so. You know who Neuheisel kind of reminds me of is when Skip Holtz joined the league, had a little college career, but then ended up coming back, and we find out he's a really, really, really good coach. I'm wondering if we get the same thing from Neuheisel. I'm actually going to go Stallions. I'm going to go with the favorite on this one, and the only reason why I'm going with the favorite is watching the Houston Gamblers. They're a train wreck.
We're tied after 2 weeks, Nick.
You're calling it. Okay. All right. That's going to be a big game to watch. It's going to be on Sunday, and I can't wait for that one. Last one should be another good one. St. Louis Battlehawks against the Dallas Renegades. Renegades favored minus 3.5.
And this is a special game. It's our game of the week, even though it's going to be technically in a different week. And you want to know why it's a special one? It's our first watch-along of the year, isn't it?
It sure is, and I think I've got a confirmation from Deshaun. We still haven't reached out to some of our other friends of the pod to jump in and see if they're interested in it. But, we're going to have a little group come together, and we're going to watch it live, do it with the same thing we did for the NFL. We did it for the UFL. I think our production's a little better. We can admit that. So it should be entertaining to watch.
Yeah, and it's going to be great. And one of the things bringing Deshaun in, if y'all watching us during the NFL season, he knows football. He's very smart, but he doesn't really watch the UFL. I don't think he's actually potentially ever watched a game. So we want to bring him in. We want to hear his thoughts throughout, and then we want to have him back on in a couple weeks and say, okay, what'd you like? What'd you didn't like? Did this game make you want to tune into more? And we're gonna see what he says, both in the moment and then with a little time to process. It's gonna be exciting. But most importantly, the winner of this game is gonna be the favorite to win the title through 2 weeks.
It should be, yeah. Over Orlando?
Well, yeah, because I think Dallas is going to win, and so they should be the favorites.
Okay, I like it. Yeah, I'm big on the Renegades. We're finally getting that Boston luck over in Dallas. Thank you, Rob. Thank you for joining us and cheering for the Renegades. Yeah, you got to prove it to me. Renegades, I won one. I'm going to go again. I like this team. I like this team a lot. And I'm pretty confident in it. Even the -3.5 spread, I think we just have a offense that's going to be really tough to beat out there. If it was at the Battlehawks, I could make an argument where the Battlehawks could cause problems, especially with the new quarterback. But it's at Dallas, so what you're going to get is a quiet stadium, and we'll be able to score well against them. I'm going Renegades all day.
Yeah, and it should be, I think, St. Louis fans are going to be like, they're going to start missing Anthony Becht this week or next week on Tuesday. But yeah, so what we'll do a little pregame, and then because it's our normal pod, why would we just do a normal pod when the team we want to talk about is actively playing? So we'll do a little pregame, then we'll do the watch along. It's going to be some good stuff, and we hope you join us for it.
Yeah, absolutely. And big week 2 of UFL up ahead. I cannot wait. I had a lot of fun watching it in week 1. Hopefully the excitement continues. But Rob, there's other sports going on, and we need to talk about it.
All right, let's talk about it.
Baseball is amongst us, Rob.
It is. The regular season kicked off to all the pomp and circumstance and fanfare it normally gets. And then some reality hit, at least for me and my Red Sox. I was not surprised losing that first series. I really wasn't. Yes, we signed Ranger Suarez. Yes, we did a few things. Well, I was worried about the depth. I felt like too many things need to go right, and it's the world's smallest sample size. We're not even at close to 1% of the games played yet. They played 3. There's 162, but Suarez looked awful. So did Oviedo. Conley early though looked great, and I would not be surprised if Peyton Tolley has a good start in AAA. If he joins the rotation pretty quick. Even if they go to a 6-man for a little bit to help Suarez kind of get his footing and get going. The young guys on the Sox side, Marcelo Mayor has looked fantastic. The young guys have looked great. Rafaela's doing good. The older guys got to get with the program. How are your Rangers doing?
They're doing great for the beginning of the year, I think. We did have that one little hiccup, and Rob, you pointed that out too. DeGrom should be pitching tonight. I think he's still a go. But yes, he had a little neck problem. He was going against the Phillies. I guess the weather was really cold out there. And basically they decided we're not going to risk any sort of straining. I hope that's the case. I've also heard this before. And then you find out your pitcher just can't pitch. Little concerned about that going in. But we ended up winning that game. We beat the Phillies. World Series beating them in the series 2-3, and a lot of people are projecting the Phillies to be one of the World Series contenders. Although anyone contending outside of the Dodgers, I mean, there's the Dodgers and then everyone else, right? And
for sure.
But we ended up beating them.
So Jacob deGrom went 4.2 tonight. He gave up 6 hits, 3 earned runs, but he had 7 strikeouts. The Rangers at the start of the 7th inning are currently up 4-3 on the Orioles.
That'd be awesome because that would make us 4-1 for the record. We are right now ahead of the Astros, number 1 in our division. And I have to brag about that because I can't promise that for the rest of the year. But, you're going against the Orioles. You're going against the Phillies. I'm overall really happy with the product. I know the Orioles are a little touchy, but beating the Phillies in 2-3 series, I'm really excited. Jake Berger is looking really phenomenal out there. He had a terrible year last year, and he ended up playing a lot better this year. Or so far, he's playing better this year.
I mean, don't get too attached to that boot. I think, the Mariners might throw a harpoon there and harpoon it and just take it away from both your teams and claim it as their AL West trophy. Because I do think the Mariners are going to go ahead and win that division overall. But yeah, good start for the Rangers.
Yeah, well, the battle is Texas, and last time I checked, Seattle's in Washington. Get the hell away from our boot. This is our thing, okay? This is our thing that we got to go capture, but should be a lot of fun. I'm so far really happy because we did not start the year off like this last year. So it's better. It's better. I'll take it. But I'm trying not to get too excited.
And that's totally fine. Over in the NHL, we got a big one going on right now on ESPN Plus. The Stars have wandered up to Boston, and they are currently heads up as we speak in the middle of the second period, playing right now. How do you think that's going? Who do you think's winning right now?
If I actually had to guess, I would say the Bruins. I would imagine the Stars are starting to put the foot off the gas. They don't look like they're in a position right now where they can actually get up into the number one spot or get down to the third spot. If they're going to go ahead and go all out and try to get a win, they might get the win against the Bruins. But just in general, I'm more on the mindset of right before the playoffs, that's when you start ramping up your starters and get real serious about hockey. I just wouldn't do it right now in this, just because you're in a stuck spot.
Yeah, for sure. And right now the Bruins are up 2-1. Currently, we've got Marat Kuznetsov has a goal for the Bruins, as does, I clicked on the wrong screen. I lost my other goal. Keep going. As does Victor Arvidsson. He has one. Pastrnak on both assists there. For the Stars, good old Jamie Benn has the lone goal for them so far to go along with 3 shots on goal. Otter's not doing too bad. He's got 11 saves so far. This game is far from over, but the Bruins, they're looking good. They are 4 points clear as we speak of the second wild card, and a good 6 points up on falling out with less than 10 games to play. So, a win tonight, and then maybe 2 more wins that should lock them into the playoffs. Currently, if they were to play tonight, if the playoffs started today, they would be up against the Metropolitan Division winner, which looks like the Carolina Hurricanes, and that is always it's not the rivalry it was back in the day when it was the Hartford Whalers and the Boston Bruins, Connecticut and Massachusetts going at each other. But in recent years, the Hurricanes and the Bruins have had some pretty epic playoff series. They do not like each other. That'd be one awesome way to kick the playoffs off.
Big, yeah, that would be really awesome, and it's good. So it's looking like you guys are pretty much solidifying that playoff position, though, right?
We're doing well. We're in the driver's seat to make it. I'm not saying anything solidified because right now the Philadelphia Flyers are making a fever pitch of a push. I will say one thing I want to touch on real quick outside both of us, but talking about the NHL. The Las Vegas Knights have done Bruce Cassidy dirty. And I'm someone that was very happy when the Bruins let Bruce Cassidy go because it wasn't working in Boston. He was winning a lot, but not winning the right ones. It was time for him to go. But he was still a fantastic coach. So what happens? He goes to Vegas and immediately wins a cup with some new players. And the NHL is known to fire coaches reflexively, quickly, but usually towards the start of the season.
Yeah.
The Vegas Golden Knights are still in playoff position. They fired Bruce Cassidy because they didn't think they were doing well enough, and they brought in and they didn't just promote they brought John Tortorella, who's coached for half the league at this point, won a cup back when he was the Lightning coach, was most recently Flyers, and then also the Rangers coach as well. One of the best American coaches of all time, but Cassidy got done dirty.
Yeah, done dirty. You got to let them finish up the year, and I think that's the most polite thing that you could do over there. But I guess they are in a win now mode, and they're saying we have no time for this, so we're just going to get rid of Cassidy. NHL, man, NHL coaching is by far the harshest of all the coaching sports. But it's weird.
You get lots of chances. Once you get one, you keep getting more. Yeah,
you get like 5 more chances, though. They just recycle coaches like crazy. And a lot of them are good coaches. I mean,
Yeah.
So it's just weird how that works. But ends up being really good for the Hey, I hope the Bruins make it, though. I really do, because I think it'd be a lot of fun to get some playoff action in hockey. How are the Celtics doing? Are they looking pretty good?
They're doing just fine. And my favorite, I love Joe Mazzulla. He's a fellow Rhode Islander. He went to Hendricken, not LaSalle, but whatever. I won't hold it against him. He is king of the outlandish quote. He says what is on his mind. And he was asked this week about, winning the Coach of the Year award, because he is a front runner, especially what he's done without Tatum almost the entire year. Tatum's only been back 2 weeks now. And he said the award was stupid. He doesn't want to win it. Because the award doesn't mean anything. He wants the ring. He wants a second ring. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah.
He doesn't need no boot.
No, he doesn't want. He wants the main thing, the eye on the prize. The eye on the prize. So we also have the Mavericks making the news. I'm going to jump back, I guess, into this all again, just to make myself hate my team that I cheered for as a childhood. But yes, the Dallas Mavericks, they made the news recently. Mark Cuban ended up saying he regrets selling it to the Adelsons. Thanks, Mark. Thank you.
He didn't regret selling it.
No, I have no problem with that. But he regrets selling it to the Adelsons. And Hey, Mark, how about this? You're a businessman, okay? I saw you on Shark Tank. You seem to know a lot about contracts and how that works, okay? When you say
he had a handshake deal. He thought he had a handshake deal.
He had an unspoken rule to be in charge of the basketball operations, and then all of a sudden, these owners who didn't sign anything, the Adelsons didn't sign anything, never decided that I'm going to take over the basketball operations.
He wasn't independent when they lost to the Celtics.
Yeah, it was all fun and games when you had Luka. Now that you lost him, it's over. So, look, and here's another thing. You were kind of hounding our fans when we said fire Nico back when the trade happened. I think most of America now agrees the trade was awful. Might be the worst one in all of sports, okay? And for him to come out, it's close. But
I was. There's Little League. It's worse than some Little League trades. I bet it was bad.
It was awful. And then when the fans started chanting, fire Nico, throwing fits, doing what we do to just try to get some control back of our franchise, you were getting mad at us. How about then, maybe then, we'd find a little forgiveness if you decided to jump in and say, this trade sucks. This is a bad trade. And I do not stand behind this. I do not support what the Adelsons are doing. I don't support what Nico Harrison doing. And he even alluded to the fact that Jason Kidd might have known about the trade, which we kind of suspect as Maverick fans, which say it. If you know something, say it. Because right now, if the minute you say that, I promise you, the arena will lose their mind and start chanting against Jason Kidd. I want everyone responsible for that trade to be fired. All of them. Every single one. And I can't do much about the owner because they own the team, but I want him out too.
But you
And
had
if
the
Jason Kidd's part of
glorious,
it, out.
you had the glorious Anthony Davis era. So many
Yeah,
highlights,
whatever.
so many banners.
Yeah.
You got Cooper
Ser-
flag. You got a flag out of it. You didn't get a banner. You got a flag out of it.
I know you're poking fun, but I'm serious. Like, this seriously ruined what I love about sports. And, like, it ruined me for other sports. I just didn't care anymore for the longest time, and I'm slowly rebuilding. I'm slowly starting to care again. But every once in a while, these news stories come up that I'm just like, I'm done. And by the way, Luka is killing it. Who could have told you that? All the Maverick fans. All the Maverick fans could have told you he
Anyone
does
that's
it.
watched him play one game.
It blows my mind. And I don't want to hear anything about him going to LA, and that's why he got better with his weight, because he did that every summer. The only reason why you fans know about it is because he's in LA, so they made it a big story. But he did that every summer. He goes back to Europe, he eats better, he's all of a sudden in better shape, comes back, we all think he looks good, and then he starts playing off, and eating American food, and gets a little chunky, but I'm okay with chunky.
You heard it here first, folks. Europe's food better than American food.
Healthier, but don't take away my Whataburger, okay? don't do that.
We love the Whataburger. Well, Nick,
there you go. All right, you did it. You drew it out of me.
An awful lot happened this week. The biggest news story, of course, was in the golf world. We don't need to fully rehash it. If you're watching us by now, you know what happened. Came out about 30 minutes before we went live that he is, not surprisingly, checking into a rehab facility. He said he's stepping away to solve some things. I'm assuming he's off to rehab. That I'm sure his lawyer told him, hey, you want to avoid any embarrassing fines or prison time, especially because he's technically a multiple offender with this. Go ahead, get your butt over to rehab. And so, breaking news, Tiger will not be playing at Augusta National this year.
Yeah, I know.
He's lucky he hasn't killed anyone, including himself. He needs to figure it out and just hire a goddamn driver. And if you're so worried, and like I saw some of the news stories that came out, I watched a little bit of the Foreplay pod because I was curious. If you want to see a crazy take, go look up Barstool Riggs and the video he had on it. We won't dive into that here. But
I got it.
One of the things, apparently, we can maybe dive into it. Apparently, one of the big things is Tiger just he wants his own personal private time. Well, you know what? You don't need that in a car. And if you're worried about someone knowing where you're going and what you're doing, you need to look at that too.
That's exactly what it is. He's just trying to hide his habits away from someone, and he just doesn't want anyone to know. And Tiger, you could tell the driver you could pay him to shut up. This is the Riggs thing. I just have it real quick, Rob. It's the Riggs response to it for Barstool, and Barstool acted so weird.
So,
you think I told our team to not post about Tiger Woods' DUI and to protect him? You're goddamn right I did. You want me on that wall. You need me on that wall.
Yeah, and he kept going. It's embarrassing. I will say Kevin Kisner stayed out of that whole thing. But his two Foreplay pod, 4FORE, like 4 on the golf course, guys. YouTube, understand what we're talking about here. They called him out and said it was not the right take, not the right way to go about things. And to Riggs' credit, he said, yeah, I understand what you're saying. But he kept going back to, well, people are going to keep throwing him under a bus, and we shouldn't all be throwing him under a bus. Someone needs to be there to support him. And it's like, not like that, dude. Because that came across as a really pathetic, sad take. If you saw photos of the crash, he was on a neighborhood road. He could have killed a child that was playing in their front yard. Like, he's had multiple offenses. Yes, he blew 000s because he didn't have any alcohol in his system. They did find oxycodone in his pocket, though, 2 loose pills.
Yeah.
So he was under the influence. Like we don't know for sure, but it's a classic problem in America. He's probably addicted to painkillers.
Yeah, oh, not probably. I think we've got enough evidence to say that he is. And I'll tell you one thing to Riggs' response on we need to support him. He's Tiger freaking Woods. America supports him. We love us some Tiger Woods. We want him to do well. We don't want to see this. I mean, you can go from all the different religions to political parties. Everyone supports Tiger Woods. And when he does stuff like this, it's just a disappointment to people like, golf fans especially, because we want to see him back. He's entertaining. He's great. He's Tiger Woods. And it's just a real sad story all the way around. So, Riggs, not smart. Not smart there, bud. But what are you going to do, right?
What are you going to do?
Yeah. That's it for me.
His pod probably got a lot of extra views. I never listened to it. I tuned in because I was like, I need to hear what this dumbass has to say.
Hey, he got clicks. You can't be ashamed of being entertained, and that's just all that is. But, yeah. I still don't support what he did there. And come on, Riggs, think it through, buddy. Think it through.
Mm-hmm. Well, all right. We've had a great week. We had a lot to look forward to in week 1 of the UFL. It was a pretty solid week. Week 2 should be even better. We got hockey playoffs coming up. Hopefully I'm hoping by the time we come at you next Tuesday, we get to mention in the pregame show that the Bruins have clinched a playoff spot. So we'll see. We're excited. If you haven't found us yet, while you're looking at our faces, click that like. If you are still listening now, an hour and 15 minutes in, click that like button if you hadn't, please. That really helps us find more people. Hit that subscribe button and share with a friend. We are on most platforms: YouTube, X, Blue Sky, TikTok, Instagram. Search Nick and Rob Homer Hour and you will find us. Give us a like, give us a follow, share with your friends. We're on every Tuesday night, 7:30 Eastern, 6:30 Central, with our occasional world famous watch alongs, which we are bringing you our first one of the UFL season next week. If you haven't tuned into a UFL game, this is the time to do it. Watch along with us as our Dallas Renegades take on the St. Louis Battlehawks in what might be the game of the season right here in week 2.
Right here in week 2, and we did get some comments. I just want to run through them, just a shout out for the fans. We got Chucky Valentine making picks. He said the DC Defenders are going to win. Orlando, I don't know. Oh, over or under, so he's a gambling guy. Decided to go over 44.5. St. Louis, he's picking them. So, Chucky, thank you for giving your input over there. And, I hope you're somewhat right, except for the fact that you chose St. Louis. So we're off to a rocky start, but we'll see how that works. Tony came back, too. He said, how about them Seahawks? Long time no see. Rob?
Good to hear from you, Tony. Hey, the Seahawks earned it. They deserved it. They were the better team.
Yeah. He's not going to let it go. But glad you're back, Tony. We are glad that you're back. Thank you for joining the show.
Join us next week for the watch along. You bring the heat every watch along. We hope you join us.
Yeah, please do. It's Tuesday in prime time Tuesday. And then Horror Games also had a comment. He said that's true. He does fire coaches left and right and fired every. He's talking about the NHL coaches being fired all across the league.
Yeah, no, it happens all the time. Just not usually this late in the season. But hey, it is what it is. Vegas still isn't winning the cup. Dallas or Edmonton are coming out of the West.
Hopefully not Edmonton. But that's it from us. You know how to find us, so find a way. I don't know if you mentioned TikTok. We also have that too.
TikTok.
It's getting a little touchy. I got to stay on top of it. But until then, we're going to see you next time, and we're going to do a live show of the Renegades. So it's going to be a lot of fun, and we'll see you guys next week.